Amazing soul friends, welcome to our February Zac Chat with Zac. And as always, a huge welcome to you too, dearest Zac. And our deep dive was absolutely fascinating. And we spoke at length about the incredible advancements of stem cell technology. And I wonder whether you have more to share about this. We've had a wonderful question that you have been privy to see beforehand. I wonder whether you would be able to incorporate that in all that you share with us today. Welcome.
First of all, let us say, as you are living now, there is vast turbulence. Yes, we know this is going on, and things will improve and be smoother, and it is part of life on earth for certain. However, as you say, advancements, knowledge being regained, or should I simply say being understood by your science and other, that allows progress, a natural progress of utilizing your innate source energy coming more and more to the fore. As you say, different Hazel. In deep dive, we talk about the stem cells, and in the meditation, stem cell regeneration to improve all people's lives, whether it is to advance difficulties where there has been disrepair, degeneration, disease, and so forth, or simply to bring more youthful vigor and vitality into life. We do not need to go over old ground because all of this is included in quite a deep exploration and insight. Very positive. You agree, Hazel?
Absolutely.
Certainly in the deep dive and the meditation, for sure. Timeless is your word, is it not? Utilize time and time again to improve your physical life, which then, of course, has knock-on effect, domino effect, helping all the other aspects of energy self. Now, something that we did not cover, that one of listeners' intent was very interesting question, all regarding these deep facilities within the physical body to heal itself. Element of the question regarding the holographic. Much of the rest of the question we cover in deep dive. However, this aspect is very useful for everyone to understand. There have been many times talking regarding holographic aspect of self, of your cellular being, and so forth. Now, this all sounds very wonderful, holographic. And many of you may already understand what that means. But what does it truly mean in terms of vitality, in terms of healing, in terms of betterment and improvement? Shall we go on with this, different Hazel? Shall we tell everybody about the holographic aspect and how truly amazing you are in life?
Please do. I can't wait.
Good. So, as a soul, you are naturally holographic. Now, holographic really means that every single element is in every single piece. Now, for those who are visual, this can be quite mind-boggling to try and visualize. What does that really mean? That in every single tiny little bit has every single piece of everything else. Aha! But this is actually true. Now, the nature of your universe, your physical universe, and how that intersects with all other frequencies and dimensions needs to be holographic. Otherwise, everything is separate. Now, pause, to take this in. What does this mean? For many decades, maybe even centuries, you have had wise peoples talking to you about how separation is simply an illusion. And this is true. It is natural in your physical world when you, for example, are with a friend and then the friend goes off back to their home, you feel separate because you are not together. A physicality makes it feel a separation. But energetically, there is always a connection. Everything is constantly connected. So, the first part of this, to truly understand what we will be discussing regarding holographic nature and how you can utilize this for betterment for self and for others, is to truly actually appreciate that there is no separation, that the separation is an illusion that has come because of the reality of needing to live a physical life. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
So, first of all, however, on energy level, everything is connected and everything is contained within everything else. There is something that we started to discuss many years ago, you and I, Hazel, where I exclaimed, ha ha, in statement form, that the universe is contained within your heart. And maybe that sounded quite poetic and almost as if it was a way of just simply experiencing life.
Mm.
But it is actually a fact. The whole aspect of the whole universe is actually contained within your heart energy. So this is not just your chakra, the energy centers, but the entirety of the whole heart self. The physical, the emotional, there is still a mental aspect of your heart and spiritual self, including your soul and so forth. Now, we will describe it in terms of the heart because this is the easiest way to really take on board. Now, the universe has always been included within your heart. So when you manifest, when you come into incarnation, as the soul resides and the physicality starts to take form, every single cell, particularly of your heart, that is created has aspect of the whole of the universe. And rather than thinking of it of how can I imagine the entirety, the infinity of the universe there within the heart, think of it more like a connection. Just like you can, in your modern world, pick up your phone. And if you know the phone number, you can connect with anybody. Uh,
Mm.
you might not even know that person. Someone just gives you a number and somebody else picks up. There is a connection. Understand so far, Hazel?
Yes, I was reading about this recently about the heart having an aspect to it that really is like a portal.
Exactly. So, what you will know is that actually beyond a connection with everything within self, we've often talked about how the cells all communicate with each other, whether it's from tippy toes all the way to the different organs of your body and so forth. It is actually constantly in connection with the whole of the universe. This is in part one of the reasons why, particularly in meditation, we often connect with the heart of the universe. What that means is the fundamental source part and what is constantly existing, connecting, that is never separate, is source energy. So when your universe came into existence, in terms of time, it took a long time, of course. It took a lot of heat. It took a lot of combustion. It took a lot of power. And something that you can see as a theme throughout your universe, whether you look at it in days and weeks, or whether you talk about it in millennia and billions of years, is that there are cycles that happen that all start with a condensement and a combustion. Okay?
Mm.
Now, we do not need to go into the intricacies. And haha, I think a lot of people would stop listening, would they not, different Hazel, if we started doing that.
Indeed.
The importance is simply to know that you are created of the same stuff. Everything is created of the same source energy. This resides within you. This is why your body works in systems and cycles, because the universe does. This is why you need heat and power. This is why you need to turn the energy that is being created into something. Now, of course, a lot of the energy that is created on a physical level within the body is what drives you throughout the day. It is what helps you move and live and breathe, for your blood to flow, your lymph and so forth. So you are utilizing all the energy that is coming through, and it is constantly being created. This does not come from simply the nuclei of each individual cell. This is powered by your connection to the source energy of the universe. Pause there for a moment, just to really take that in. Really understand you are not alone, you are not separate. Even when you feel tiny and small and insignificant, even when everything else feels like it is falling apart, even when you feel, and this is the most important one, different Hazel, that your life is not in your hands, when you feel out of control, when things happen to you, around you, and you feel like you are teetering on the edge, and you feel there is no control. Breathe deeply. Not so much for the practice of what this does in terms of anxiety and other, but breathe deeply to remember. Breathe into your heart space and remind yourself, I am part of the universe. Now that in itself, you think, well, what does that mean? The universe is within you to help you. The universe is in you to not only inspire and to fuel the change. You can utilize that energy in any way you wish, which is where free will comes in your life. It would be suggestible, advisable to use the intention of betterment and vitality. And we go through much more of this in deeper dive, of course, regarding the connection to stem cells. And certainly, if you are interested in how you can utilize your stem cell ability, which every living being has within them, to manifest positive and new change, utilizing the source energy, then of course do listen to DB Dive. Do not want to waste people's time repeating. The holographic element is very, very important, because what the holograph does means that there is a constant connection. Even when you feel disconnected, it is coming to our awareness. As we feel into people's energy, there are many people feeling disconnected, whether it is disconnected to the universe, to spirit, to light, disconnected from self. This often comes through trauma, through pain, through shock, or just simply from very long periods of hardship. Now, knowing this about the hologram does not, of course, just simply go poof, it all goes away and everything is fine. But the more that you can take on board the reality, the true fact of the building blocks of your life, way past the actual real building blocks, the actual chemical, the carbon and so forth, into the frequency, into the energy state, into what drives one universe once it is completely and utterly gone for another universe to appear, is this force of life. And that is contained in everything in the source of energy. There is a desire, you could say, within the force of life to go forward, to progress. Your bodies are designed to progress. When you have a little baby, you do not have to tell it to grow. It grows. You do not have to tell it to grow up, to move as it goes through childhood into puberty and so forth. It is progress. Even the degeneration near the end of life, to allow you to shed, as it were, the skin of this life, to be able to be free to do other things and maybe have other lives and so forth. All of it is actually progress. When you see within a forest, branches of the trees, plants, so forth, coming down, being part, and what you perceive as death is the starting of new life. It is the stuff that is made that then decomposes and so forth, that then brings through new life. And in that decomposition, what you often get, heat. We are back to the cycles of life again. So whatever stage of life, whatever stage you're in, happy place, unhappy place, shocked place, good place, these things remain true at the very heart of you, and with every single cell you have got a holographic element. And because you are part of the universe, you are also important to the universe. The universe is contained within you, but you are also part of the universe. This is one of the ways that you affect the universe, just simply living your life and being you. Even if you had no conscious awareness of anything at all, you still affect the entirety of universe just by living, just by experiencing life, just by your own progress through life has a knock-on effect and will be affected. I speak much. Does all of this make sense, my dear, so
Oh
far?
my goodness, it absolutely makes sense. And I'm very curious now that we have this information, how we can maximize our experiences moving forwards.
So, when you are one little person, teeny tiny dot upon a planet, teeny tiny dot in a solar system, teeny tiny dot in a Milky Way, teeny tiny dot in a universe, teeny tiny dot in a multi-universe, bloody bloody blah. Ha ha ha! It can be very easy to fall into a trap of feeling insignificant. When we feel or we even believe that who we are, what we feel, what we believe is insignificant, then this informs the universe. Okay. This informs the other cells of your body. You may notice when you feel really despondent, my dear, does it come to pass that not too soon after you may feel a bit achy in your body? Maybe things don't feel quite so right. The physical body
Yeah.
follows. You understand?
Yes.
Now, there are many reasons, but if you go to the very source, the cells of the body, you are implying to the cells of your body, it doesn't really matter. Insignificant. What does it matter? Okay. Now, you're thinking, oh my goodness, Zachariah, does this mean that every minute of every day I've got to be talking to the cells of my body? It does not mean that at all. But it simply means that if this is how you are feeling, this knowledge of your importance in the universe is so vital at this point. Whether you are a morning person and you do it first time in the day or later on in the day, whenever it feels right, just take a few moments and remind yourself, talk directly to your heart, and simply say, I am an important part of this universe, and I claim my right to the source energy. I'm an important part of the universe. I claim my right to the source energy. Now, the source energy is flowing always through you. But imagine a campfire. You are sitting by a beautiful campfire. It is a starry night. You're wrapped up warm and you're looking at the flames. Yes? And you are
Yes.
enjoying it so much and you want it to go on. And there's a pile of logs next to you. But it's starting to burn out. And you have a choice. It sounds so simple saying it this way. You can put more logs on the fire, get it burning again, really enjoy your evening, be warm and toasty. Or you could go, oh no, it is dying out. Nothing I can do. It is going to ash. It is something of the past. Nothing I can do about that. Now that sounds very silly, doesn't it? Because in a physical form, we can act upon it. It is something that we are used to doing. We are used to acting upon what is in front of us, to reacting to it. But in the body, how often do you really think of it? Unless you are in terrible pain or discomfort or heartache or whatever it is. But if instead this source energy, this is a fire I'm talking about, and you fuel it by saying, this is my God-given right. And what I mean by God-given is universal right. You are something, a manifestation of the universe in beautiful physical human form, whatever that form might be, whether you like the form you're in or not, whether you are accepting of the form, whether it feels perfect for you or imperfect for you. You are a manifestation of the universe. And because of that, the source energy, the part that runs all these cycles, the power, the combustion, the creation, the heat is within you.
Mm.
If with your intention, your free will, your cleverness of your personality and your soul combined, you talk directly, just in this very simple way of allowing, giving permission of that source energy to fuel within you, that heat, that combustion, as it were, for want of better words, moving through you, wants to progress. Therefore, if there is something that is not quite right within your body, you are giving the potential, the best potential for the regeneration, for the healing to happen in that part of the body. If you are very sad, got problems emotionally for whatever reason, you have the fuel there to start to have the energy to do something about it. The same with your mental body, the same with everything. Your motivation, your desire to live in the way that you want to live. So, this holographic aspect, and when we talk about the hologram, it is not just a way to say, oh, you are part of the universe is part of you. It is actually a fact. You literally are represented outside of yourself within this universe, whether you are in a body or whether it is purely your soul. Because energy is eternal. You are eternal. You are an eternal part of this infinite universe. And rather than feeling like, oh, that's made me feel even smaller, it is actually that means that you are God given, right? God being the universe here, the energy, the source energy for you to apply it within. And then everything else that we have talked about for years and years, and no doubt for years to come, can all come to pass. But this is the fact. And this is why the work that we are talking about in the deep dive regarding the stem cells, this is why the meditation has potential to be very, very positive in people's bodies and so forth. Does all of
Mm.
this make sense to you, my dear?
Wow, Zach, it's so wonderful hearing your excitement in sharing all of this because I know that you're so aware of how so many of us live our lives and actually that there is this that we can claim for ourselves that can refuel us so simply, so incredibly simply. And I'm wondering whether there's more to share about this.
In the past, well, not just in the past, now too, many people receive healing energy, spiritual healing energy, all the many, many different forms that you have upon your earth, or intention, or people sending good wishes, prayer, energy. All of these things are multifaceted, of course.
Mm.
But at the most fundamental level, the first thing it does is wake up that holographic energy in you, because source energy from a high vibration of a desire to help is being entered into the energy system. Okay, so this is one of the ways where people have felt the warmth, the fire, the energy, whether it is in a physical warmth or just feeling more inspired, feeling more invigorated, energy coming back so that the body can heal itself and so forth
Mm.
at the most fundamental level. And this is very, very rarely talked about with healing or with prayer or with intention, because it goes into the nitty gritty. This is more
Mhm.
for those who have a analytical, scientific brain. Janet will enjoy this very much. You know how she has a thirst for scientific knowledge.
Yeah.
Uh, and this is what really, really happens. At the most fundamental level, the very first thing it does is it reminds the cells of the body that it is not alone. To not, like when a little hedgehog or a porcupine is scared by the world and it goes up into a ball, so nothing can touch it, nothing be around. Your cells do a similar thing when you have been very hurt physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever it may be. It is quite a natural process, of course, for survival to do this. And you could imagine that the cells at some point can become almost like an introvert,
Yeah.
almost not as saying I am not part of the universe, because that is not possible. You cannot live and not be part of the universe. But it can shy away from the energy that is here to help you.
Mm.
But just like how someone may take that beautiful little hedgehog, put it in a very safe, warm, comfy environment, and just stay back and watch it open up and open up to the world again. This is
Mm.
very similar. And this is something that has often been done by other people to a person. And the times you are living in now, where it is so useful and encouraging to have people really have a deeper understanding of self and help themselves. This, like
Mm.
I say, this little thing every day, until it is just second nature of just saying, yes, I claim my right to the energy of the universe. Yes, I am an important aspect.
Yeah.
And you can say this whatever you are going through. Whatever you are going through, you are then allowing the universe to move through you. You are allowing that very original source energy that is not black or white, right or wrong. It is just pure fuel energy to come into you and then allow you to then decipher your own selves to do what it is going to do with it. But by focusing on the heart is the place that you can really feel it. But
Mm.
this will then radiate throughout the entirety of the cells of your body. And there's nothing that goes through the cells of your body that doesn't have a reflection. Let us call it a reflection. That is a good way of putting it, into the other aspects of your energy body. So often we do things from the other parts, from the emotional side, from the mental side, what we intend, what we think, from the spiritual side, what we are bringing in with the energy and so forth. And every single one is important, and one will reflect the other. So by doing this for self, by just simply having the knowledge that you are a holographic being, that the whole of you is within the universe. The whole of the universe is within you. You have the power to allow that energy of life, of progress, of moving forward to really be embedded and utilized by every part of you. Understand? Yes.
Zac, this is incredible. What amazingly helpful guidance and insights into our quantum nature, our multidimensional nature, and just being able to now claim these rights for ourselves and fuel our fires. I am curious to hear what you would say will happen. The more people that do this, how will this start to transform humanity?
Mm. It is simply a matter of life. It breathes life back into people. You know how wonderful it feels when you've got a plant that maybe have been left, hasn't been watered for a while, and you give it some sunlight, you give it some water, and it literally stands up tall. You know, it starts
Yeah.
to feel. And this is the same with people. People, you start to see them slump. You start to see the sadness come in. You start to see all these things. It is not correct to say do this and everything will be absolutely perfect. Otherwise, this would be very first teaching we ever did. But it is a very essential part, especially now that there is such encouragement coming from the universe for peoples to do so much more for themselves,
Mm.
for them to be their own healer, to be their own teacher, to be it sounds paradoxical because it sounds like there is more separation to stand alone, but it is to stand alone in the power and the knowledge that you're part of everything else.
Mm.
You
Mm.
understand? When you
Mm.
see, think of a yacht sailing at sea, and there's a number of people, they all have very different jobs to sail that yacht. They are all as important as each other. The difference between them and their knowledge is important. If one of them suddenly wasn't there, then the ship would not sail in the same way, maybe not at all. And you
Mm.
could look at them and they say, but they're such different personalities, they're such different beings. They are. But as a unit, they come together. They appreciate what others can do. And this is the same. appreciating what you can do for self, what you can do for others, what they can do for you, but standing in your individual power, being like the plant that has just had water and light, knowing that you have a fuel beyond food and water and all of these things, which also all contain the holographic element of the universe. Everything that you bring in is containing it at such a level. This is not something that anyone will ever see with a microscope because it exists on a different plane, but it is a plane that intersects with all life, all physicality, all energy. And the fundamental energy and power is one to go forward. But when you think of life on earth, when you think of being a human, when you think of animals and so forth, every single thing does the same thing. It progresses forward. And this is the very nature of the universe that you are living. So the more that people can embrace it for themselves, the more they can help themselves being the living surge of light that they are, the more that they are in a better, shall we say, situation for all other good things to happen too. Understand? Yes.
Absolutely. And as you speak, I'm reminded of that beautiful ancient analogy of the rich tapestry of life, where each are a very important thread in that whole big picture, aren't we? Zac, this has been absolutely incredible. And I feel as though many more conversations will stem from this topic. We've been talking about the new human, and you've spoken in the past about how things that maybe weren't so easy are now easier.
Absolutely. And again, slightly paradoxical. The new human is really a reimagined form of your original source self that came into being before you became Homo sapien. You understand?
Wow.
You have gone through so many different processes, and it is very easy in a physical world to imagine the new human being a different form, a different makeup, something completely and utterly other than what you are in this moment or what you have been, because it is natural in human nature to feel get away from the past, go into a brand new future.
Mm.
But something to leave everybody wandering the lanes of wonder. Ha ha! Something to ponder on. If you forget your ideas and thoughts about what the new or the light being, the luminous being that you are and are becoming, and those going into the generations into the future, if you let go of any thoughts of it being something actually new, and instead you wander the lanes of wonder of saying, what about the most original aspects, the source aspects of us being, shall we say, the patterning simply being slightly different. A bit like as you were saying with the a big tapestry. You move those exactly same threads, but in a different way and a different picture forms. Looks completely different, but the tapestry is still made up of the same stuff. If you think you are the same stuff, but you actually have activated within you the knowledge of the universe, the awareness that you are part of everything, and that source energy not only runs through you but desires to progress and go forward. How would you imagine life to be? How would you imagine your body to be? How would you imagine your abilities, capability on intellectual level? How would your mind work? How would your emotions work? Way beyond the physical. What would you intersect with in terms of dimensionally, frequency? How far beyond your own energy level, your energy, would you then communicate with? Aha! This is something not just for the next month. This is probably something for a few years to think about, meditate on. But wander the lanes of wonder. Allow it to be fueled by your desire for wonder and excitement and the new. And you really will maybe able to see how just a reimagining of what you are already made of could be something so magnificent. And just leave you with that final thought. You are magical beings of creation. Why do I remind you of that the whole time? Ha ha! Something again to ponder on. Magical beings of creation in manifestation form. Live and be well in that. Live and enjoy the life that you have in every single moment. Live and become the universe in your own right. Understand? Yes.
Oh, Zac, thank you so very much. This has been absolutely fascinating, brilliant, essential information for us moving forward. And as you say, this is obviously to be continued. So thank you. And thank you all for joining us. And please join us as one of our patrons if you want to hear more of these absolutely wonderful quantum discussions from Zac. Thank you, Zac. Thank you all, and have a wonderful month. Bye bye.